What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Really do appreciate you being here. Now, if you are new here, my name's Chris and I'm building a business that suits my lifestyle. Now, recently I took a 6-week holiday to the Philippines to spend time with my girlfriend Carla over Christmas and over New Year's and really just go tools down and relax. And I've never done anything this big in terms of length of holiday before. So it was a bit of a scary thing to think about, to step away from the business, and even more so to actually pay someone to run my reselling business on eBay while I was away. And in this video, I want to take you through all the results, all of the lessons that I've learned while I was away and seeing the results that has happened. So buckle up, we're going to get into the details. And of course, if you've got any questions, any clarifications, chuck a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer as soon as possible. Now, to be fair, in lead up to me going away, I had spent a good 12 weeks really just getting in motion the training for my worker and also making sure that there was an effort and a level of planning ahead of time to ensure that they were ready to handle the primary tasks of picking, packing, and posting so that I didn't have to turn off my eBay business. Now, they were also doing photos. They're already doing that. That is what their role is. But the idea was to have them come in and take over in my absence during this 6 weeks. Now, it was actually probably a little bit more than 6 weeks because I actually had, unfortunately, I had COVID just before I went away. And then on my return, I've had bronchitis and laryngitis. So they've actually probably done closer to probably almost 10 to 12 weeks in my absence and a bit of my downtime. Now, I will also clarify that while I was away, listings was not the priority. Yes, they were taking photos so that I could do listings if needed, but that was not the priority as I didn't really have access to internet in my absence. But the listings that I did do, which was a total of 1,627, they were majority relists. Actually, 1,350 of those were relists, so ending and sell similar. That was my game plan in my absence. And actually, fun fact, of those 1,627 items that I listed in my absence, 12% of those actually have sold already. So about 198 of them. So that's really rewarding. Now, the time that I was away was also an interesting factor because it was over Christmas, 23rd of November, all the way up until around the 7th of January. So top level, all things considered, the 6 weeks while I was away was a success. I'm back. Things have still gone okay. I did have interim access to internet, usually a couple of times a week. Not always a full day, but here and there. But majority of the time, I wasn't really online and wasn't able to be online. However, there was probably one little boo that happened while I was away. One incorrect package was sent. It was actually my fault because I had skewed it incorrectly. Nothing to be ashamed of. We've all done it, but just to show that the reality, these things will happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each week as I went through the results of that week, and then I'll give you a bit of an overview, and then we'll talk a bit about how December actually has gone in terms of breaking you down some of the costs and things involved with running the business while I was away. So week 0 and 1, meaning the first couple of days while I was away was the 23rd of November, so it's like a Thursday. So week 0 is those last couple of days of that week, and then week 1 combined, so the 23rd of November all the way up until the 3rd of December. We actually did 115 sales. We did just shy of $5,000 in revenue. Week 2, which was from the 4th of December to the 10th of December, we did around 68 sales with around $2,500 in revenue. Week 3, we actually had a lower amount of sales of around 63, but we had a higher revenue of around 2,800. Not bad. Week 4, things get interesting. This is when I actually turned on time away from the 22nd of December all the way up until the 6th of January because I wanted to give my worker time off over Christmas and New Year's and things like that. So the week of 18th of December to the 24th of December, we turned off all auto accept offers. We implemented time away, and we also didn't send out any offers. We also started to just focus on scheduling relists, and I wasn't doing any more new listings. In this period, we actually did 43 sales, just shy of 2,000 in revenue, and week 5 we actually hit with Christmas kicking off the week, and then we ended on the 31st of December, so Christmas all the way to New Year's Eve. And I actually tested some sales of like spend $500, get 50% off, or buy 10 items and get 50% off. Didn't get anyone nibble on those. That's okay. We did do 43 sales in this week, around $2,100 worth of revenue. Week 6, which was the final week of my return, which was the 1st of Jan to the 7th of Jan, we did 52 sales, just shy of 2,500 in revenue. So all things considered, and you can see here on the big board as an overview, we did 384 sales in total, just shy of $17,000 in revenue, listed a total of around 1,600 items. So it's really rewarding. It's been really encouraging to step away and know that the business can operate without me. And I'll probably say this a number of times, but you're probably actually wanting to understand how the numbers stack up in terms of, well, what were the actual profits after, all expenses. So I want to give you a snapshot of what December looked like, because that was the majority of the time that my business was, operating without me there. And you can see how much it's gone with me only really doing listings. So in terms of revenue for December, it was actually probably my lowest month in the last 6 months, just because it was, and probably for a number of reasons, because of the time away and things like that. But we did just shy of $11,000 in revenue. We had about $2,500 in cost of goods sold. And looking at the expenses, we didn't have any post supply costs because I made sure that was all up to date before I left, so I didn't have to have my worker worry about it. Storage costs obviously were there, $804. Office, which is essentially my internet and phone, they were using all those as well while I was away, for the business. So again, that's just a normal cost. Actual post was only around $2,100, pretty low because we obviously had some time away and we didn't actually have to post for the entirety of the month. Employee and consignment costs, so my worker was obviously working, again, probably only working not the full month because they did take some time off, $1,200 there. And consignments, I didn't have any because I said I'll just push out the invoice for the following month. In terms of other car, my car was still being utilized a little bit, and there's a few other little costs in there. Just, I think they had to get a few more bits and bobs. And then fees was around $1,800 and $26. So total expenses was around just shy of $6,300, and operating profit of around $2,200, so about 20%. Now, when I think about this is pretty cool. And it's very liberating to know that I can be away from the business and now have someone do majority of the stuff. So picking, packing, posting, and photos. The only thing they weren't doing was obviously listings. So if they were able to do listings, or I was able to incorporate listings into this and I was still able to make a profit, it would be pretty rewarding. However, there's a few things we have to take into account, that it wasn't a normal month. They took time away. I didn't have all my majority of my costs, and it doesn't really give me the perfect snapshot, but it does give me a warm and fuzzy feeling to know that, hey, this could possibly work. And it's a really good test run to think about what I'm trying to build. I'm not trying to create a job for me. I'm trying to build a business that suits my lifestyle. That means I can do less and I can still make some money from it and continue to grow that model. But it takes time, right? So I guess while I was away, what I focused on was planning for 2024, focusing on 2024. What am I going to do to get me to where I want to be? I also did a lot of reflecting on 2023 as well. And of course, I've come back and I wasn't able to hit the ground running to where I wanted because I had bronchitis, laryngitis, my car died. There's been a lot of things that have happened. But if anything, it tells me is that life isn't linear. There's always going to be roller coasters. Business is exactly the same. Now, before we actually dive into 2024 and my intentions, we actually need to go through how did 2023 wrap up. And you can watch that video here. It's probably not out yet actually at the time of this video, but when it's released, it will be here. And you can go watch that. And in that video, I'm really breaking down the reflection of being my third year on eBay, what are the results for 2023, and really some of the big learnings, but also some of the really interesting numbers and metrics behind that. So if you love numbers, that video will have all those details. Appreciate you being here. If you do have questions, chuck them down below. Otherwise, go check out a video. Cheers.